So today we're going to look at an overview of the whole program and also to look at Workbook 1. First of all, let me talk to you about the background to the program. In Somaliland, there are a number of challenges to providing public financial management, PFM as we call it, training. There are limited PFM skills within government or universities, which means the training must be externally supported. Also, there's a recognised need for external certification of the program so as to provide credibility, to ensure international standards, and to motivate you as students. And there is a requirement to build sustainability so that the training does not just end with this course but can be continued into the future, which is why the University of Hargeisa, has been a centre of PFM excellence, which will be capable of providing ongoing PFM education and training into the future. And the whole programme is built around that concept of developing sustainability to the programme. And there's a focus on professional training. Let me explain what I mean by professional training. You could see training as being along a spectrum as indicated by the arrow at the top. On the left hand side we've got what is called task related training, training for specific tasks. For example, training you to prepare a budget, training you to carry out a bank reconciliation. No conceptual knowledge is required. The impact's direct and measurable because you can do the task better afterwards. But you can't really transfer that knowledge to anything else. It is quite specific to that task. At the other end of the scale, we've got the academic education, which is usually provided by universities, which is theoretical, provides broad conceptual knowledge with no direct practical application. And there's a focus on debate and issues. Professional training sits in the middle between task-related and academic training. It's generic. It covers all tasks within a specific sphere, such as public financial management. It's not specific to any one organisation or situation. So although we will look at examples from Somaliland, the skills you acquire would be applicable to any government anywhere in the world. The skills that you learn are practical for general, generic situations that arise. There will be some understanding of concept. We don't just focus on practical training, but they will be in the context of the practical training. And most importantly, professional training involves certification as your knowledge grows. So the approach that's being adopted in Somaliland is to provide you with professional training based on the CIPA qualification. CIPA has an international public financial management program, which is an international version of the UK professional qualification. And let me just tell you something about CIPA. CIPA is the Chartered Institute of Public Finance and Accountancy. It's a UK accredited, government accredited, international professional body. It's a member of the International Federation of Accountants, IFAC. It specialises in the public sector. The CIPA qualifications are internationally recognised. And the International Public Financial Management, the PFM exam programme, leads ultimately to full CIPA membership. So you won't be any different to somebody who qualified in the UK taking the exams in the UK. Now the course structure that we will be going through in phase 1, which is what is happening between now and the middle of 2018, you will be dealing with the foundation course, which contains Introduction to PFM, which you're studying at the moment, PFM for Somaliland, and also English for PFM, which is being organised by the University of Hargeisa. Once you've completed that successfully, you can move on to the CIPA PFM course, which will start in 2018 or the end of 2017, with 2 papers, Financial Accounting and Management Accounting. In phase 2 later on, you will move on to the CIPA diploma phase, and we hope that you will also be able to undertake the procurement certificate and diploma course as well. Now, the foundation course is before you start the actual CIPA course, and its objective is to provide basic PFM skills and knowledge required for the CIPA course. Our experience has been that if you go directly into the CIPA course, many students find this very difficult. So by doing the foundation course, first of all, you learn the basic skills. At the same time, it's focused on the knowledge and skills that are relevant to Somaliland. So what you learn is of immediate practical benefit. And it is a screening process. It will identify those students with the capability and motivation to commence the CIPA course. And if I could just tell you a little bit about the CIPA qualification, the IPFM qualification, the 2 levels that you will be studying under this program will be the certificate level, and you will become student members of CIPA when you register for this course. So as soon as you are registered for the course, you will be a student member of CIPA. If you successfully complete the certificate level, you will then be allowed to proceed to the diploma level, and when you successfully complete the diploma level, you will become the first level of full membership of CIPA. You will become an affiliate member of CIPA. Now, there are further levels of the CIPA qualification, the advanced diploma and the professional level, which leads you through different levels of membership of CIPA. But they are not included in the program that we're planning for Somaliland. Sorry, typographical error there. How the course works. Well, the course will start off with you, the students, being selected by government. That's already happened. You should all be government employees, graduates, and you should have all been tested for your English and basic skills. You are then enrolled with a participating university, the University of Hargeisa, and for everything except the introductory course, the trainers will be trained before the course starts by international experts. Because of limitations on time, we haven't been able to do that for the introductory course, but it will happen for all the later levels. The actual tuition is provided by the universities, and we as international advisors will support it through learning materials, tutor mentors, webinars, which are going on right now, and discussion forums. The exams, the CIPA exams, will be set at the universities, but they will be set and assessed externally by CIPA. So all of the examinations will be of an international standard and will be internationally accredited. And the goal is that the university should become CIPA training partner. University of Hargeisa should become a CIPA training partner. That requires quite a lot and is quite demanding, but that is the goal. And as we say, all the exam scripts will be marked by CIPA. For the certificate level, all the exams will be multiple choice exams. That's quite important because there are particular skills that you will need to learn when you're sitting multiple choice tests, which we will discuss later on in the program. We will also be providing you with a web-based learning management system. Now that isn't available as yet. Again, because of time constraints, we've had to start the program before that was developed. It's being developed at the moment, and we hope to have it available for you to use certainly during the course of July. That will enable us to register you all as students, to distribute material via that website, to provide online testing, discussion forums, exam registration and recording of results, and various other facilities that you will see once we start the learning management system, which, by the way, we normally abbreviate to LMS, Learning Management System. The timing of the phase 1 is set out in this diagram. You're now undertaking the introductory course with the exam scheduled for the end of July. You will then go on to the PFM for Somaliland, which will start in September, with an exam in November 2017. If you successfully complete those examinations, you will then be able to move on to the CIPA certificate program with the financial accounting paper starting in December with an exam in March 2018. And then straight away the management accounting with the exam in June 2018. 2 points about the CIPA exams is they are set internationally, so students in other countries will be taking those examinations, so they cannot be changed. So there is no scope for delaying your course. The exam dates are fixed. All of the CIPA exams will be sat online using multiple choice questions. And later on, CIPA will be in touch with the university to arrange that to take place. Right. This is the course that you're studying at the moment, the introductory course. There are 5 workbooks. So far we have gone through workbooks 1 to 3. We estimate that the total study time for this program is 25 hours plus self-test time of a further 2 hours per workbook. So a total time of 35 hours. You may well find that you need longer than that, but that's our estimate. The workbook you've been given is comprehensive. You don't need to read anything else, but there is some optional reading here. Frank Wood's Business Accounting Volume 1 is a basic accounting text. It's not designed for the public sector. It applies to any organization. It's a very good basic accounting book. On public sector accounting, the best introductory text I would suggest is Public Sector Accounting and Budgeting for Non-Specialists by Heldon and Hodges. Ron Hodges was actually a former student of mine, and I think that's a very good introductory. More advanced is Bergman's book, Public Sector Financial Management. And just a short thing you may wish to read is Government Accounting Standards Board in the USA, GASB, Why Government Accounting and Financial Reporting is and Should Be Different. And you can find that at the GASB website if you look it up. All of the others are books that have to be purchased by you or by the university. Right, I'm now going to go through workbook 1. Quite a simple, the shortest of the workbooks in your course, so this will be quite quick. Workbook 1, first of all, we just start off by defining financial management. Financial management can be defined as the efficient and effective management of money, what is often referred to as funds, in such a manner as to accomplish the objectives of the organization. That's a generic definition. It applies to the public or private sector. Public financial management is the financial management of entities, sometimes referred to as institutional units, in the public sector. So it's simply financial management applied to the public sector. And also a definition of what we mean by an entity. As I say, sometimes referred to as institutional units. You find that in the UN System of National Accounts and the IMF Government Financial Statistic Manual, both of those refer to institutional units. It has exactly the same meaning as entity. And for both, the definition is an economic entity that is capable in its own right of owning assets, incurring liabilities, and engaging in economic activities and transactions with other entities. Now, we actually looked, when we went through Workbook 3, some examples of entities in the public and private sector. But in the public sector, an entity could be a government, it could be a ministry, it could be a university, it could be a public sector business that is owned by government. What is the public sector? Well, again, this is taken from the UN Systems of National Accounts and the IMF Government Financial Statistics Manual. So this is, if you like, an official definition of the public sector. The public sector divides into 2 parts. On the left, we have the public corporation sector. Now, public corporations is the word that is used in those two publications. It's not the general word that's used. Most people refer to them as state-owned enterprises or state-owned businesses. They're corporations controlled by other entities within the public sector. So usually they will be controlled by a national or sub-national government. And then those divide into non-financial corporations and into financial corporations. Financial corporations, basically banks owned by the state. And any other public corporations are non-financial corporations. And on the right we have what is referred to as the general government sector, GGS. Now, when we talk about public financial management, actually the terminology is inaccurate. In general, we are talking about financial management of the general government sector. General government sector, corporations controlled by entities within the GGS, and it includes all entities controlled by entities within the GGS governments except public corporations. Central and subnational governments, including ministries, departments and agencies. Subnational governments, state, you don't have states within Somaliland, but if you look at Somalia, for example, the state of Puntland, states, regions and local government. It also includes social security entities at any level of government, but you don't have social security entities in Somaliland. These would be things like a pension fund for all members of the public when they reach a certain age. If you set that up as a separate fund, that would be a social security fund. Say they don't exist in Somaliland. And we can look at public financial management as being a cycle. Now, there are various versions of this cycle. This is the one that is actually used by the World Bank Public Expenditure and Financial Accountability Assessment Project. So it's got some official status. At the start is the planning and budget preparation, whole budget process. Then the budget execution, putting the budget into operation, collecting in the money, the taxes that are due to you, and spending the money on the various activities of government. That's when the accounting system is important, because you use the accounting system to actually make the budget happen. You have to make payments. Without that, the budget will simply never happen. The third stage is accounting and reporting. You really could subdivide that into the two because they're separate. Accounting is the process of accounting. What we've really looked at in workbooks 2 and 3, it's the process of collecting information on economic events and transactions and then putting it into ledger accounts. And then reporting, which we're going to come on to in the subsequent workbooks, is the reporting of that information. And then the fourth stage is external scrutiny and audit. External scrutiny, for example, Parliament looking at how the various ministries have performed in terms of the way they've spent their money and what they've achieved, and audit by the Auditor General, usually what is referred to as the Supreme Audit Institution. So in Somaliland, that will be the Auditor General. That's the PFM cycle, and that's what we will be studying both during this course, or introductory course, and also PFM for Somaliland. And we will tend to follow these stages in that cycle. And there are significant benefits from having good public financial management. First of all, enhanced resource mobilization. There are various ways that financial management helps you mobilize resources to spend. It can help you raise taxes through having efficient collection systems for the tax revenues that are due. It can help you borrow money, because if you've got good financial systems, and they're recognized externally as good financial systems, you can generally borrow money at cheaper rates and more easily. It improves fiscal forecasting and resource allocation. So that through public financial management, you should be able to have a better forecast of what money you're going to have available in the next budget period, and then be able to allocate that according to your policy priorities. So if your policy priority is, for example, education, then you can ensure that the budget reflects that priority by giving adequate resources to education. Thirdly, good PFM enables more efficient budget execution and management of resources. For one thing, it can reduce the cost of transactions. It can be very expensive in some environments to make payments because of the bureaucratic process. And in some countries, it may well involve payments, unofficial payments to officials, to enable money to be spent in a particular way. Good financial management should minimize all of those wastage and the cost of transactions. And also you can manage resources more efficiently, because by having information on the resources, you can look at the way they're used. You can look at not just minimizing costs, but increasing the effectiveness of your expenditure, what's usually referred to as obtaining value for money. Fourthly, effective and efficient management of financing. For example, ensuring that you do not have idle funds sitting in bank accounts when in other bank accounts you are overdrawn and paying interest. Managing your cash flow so that money is available when you need it to finance activities. And when it's not required, then you can use it to obtain interest income. Fifthly, good public financial management should enhance transparency and accountability by providing publicly available reporting on the way money has been spent, and by enabling the accountability of government officials. And finally, it should enable the good management of public funds and assets, resulting in reduction in the levels of corruption and leakages. Corruption is an unpleasant word, but it is a feature of life across the world. And one of the objectives of good financial management is to make it more difficult. We will also look, particularly in the next course, at PFM in Somaliland, and there are really two major references we'll look at there. One is the Somaliland Constitution 2012, and the second is the new Public Financial Management Act of 2016, which has now become law and which will be the basis for financial management in Somaliland. We're not going to look at that very much in the introductory course. That will be in the PFM for Somaliland course. So in this presentation, we provided an overview of course and an introduction to PFM concepts.